Professor Leonidas Tarca, black belt, baddest principal on the planet.
I love that name.
My training partner since I don't know when, you know.
Dude.
Since I first moved to LA.
Yeah. Been a long time, huh?
Mm-hmm.
My God, I was thinking about it. It's well, thank you first of all for having me here. I love the topic. And I told you this earlier. We went to go get, Jungle Cafe.
Shout out. Acai smoothie, acai Jungle Cafe.
With peanut butter. So over there, and this podcast is coming in at a perfect time because I'm gonna pivot my life, and I get to do two things, right? So, jiu-jitsu is my passion. About 17 years, almost 18 years of jiu-jitsu, but my profession is education. Mm-hmm. So we've been talking about combining the two, right? Putting both together because they coincide so well. Mm-hmm. It's like a interdisciplinary like teamwork between jiu-jitsu and academics. And then how do we make the biggest impact with kids? And we've talked about this, Alberto, for a long time, right?
I'm doing a TED Talk, right? And about how complex movement, right, makes the tenderize all the arborization in your neurons, right, to help you learn better.
Yeah.
And so it truly is all. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. I give you an example. So I have this kid, that I'm working with at school, probably one of the best athletes that I've seen in a long time for middle school. But man, second grade reading level, dude. So he's frustrated.
Yeah.
But you give him a ball, and he's amazing, and everything that he does, right? So I said, what if I give you a football and you get to class? Like, just put it on your arm, and if you get frustrated, remember that you're gonna play at lunchtime, and I'm the quarterback.
Yeah. So you've been in education for how many years?
I'm going on my 24th year.
24th year. Yeah. So 24th year. So 2000. Yeah. So yeah. Many years, and you've been, all over Los Angeles.
Yes.
You're principal, vice principal, and probably teacher, right? When you first started out.
Yeah.
Like all over the valley, and it's not Compton. Crenshaw.
Compton Unified in the house.
Compton Unified representing. Yeah, you did all this. You showed me the Halloween thing that you guys did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did you dress up as a rapper?
I did.
Yeah. MC Tarca.
It's like a Beastie Boy, man.
Beastie Boy. And man, I've been seeing you work your butt off, all these years, and really making a difference. Malik Valentine.
Yes, sir.
The kid. What school was he in?
He was at Monterey.
Yeah. Monterey. And so I remember you showing me him. And he was, a lot of anger, and you can tell the story. Yeah. But go ahead. Why don't you tell a story?
Okay. All right. So it was. I talked about a pivot that's going to be happening in my life, and we'll talk about it at the end. Yeah. But that kid made me pivot in my life. So a bunch of kids were telling me, and Malik, I want to just tell your story really quickly, but I'm gonna if you hear this podcast, which I know you will, just a little bit about how you allowed me to man up in that meeting, right? So they told me about this kid, and I was like prepared, man. I had my jacket off, and I was all pumped up.
Monterey's like it's a high school, it's a secondary.
It's a continuation.
So what kind of kids are in there?
So the kids that go to Monterey, which is a phenomenal school, are students that are credit deficient. So they get a second chance, right? So at the comprehension school, you need about 220 credits to graduate on time. So 4 years, 220 credits. Most students now, this is the thing. I'm not going to talk about the district, but there's districts out there that you have kids that fail completely in 9th grade. So those kids are in deficit of 1 year of credit. Those kids are not going to graduate on time. Even if you do summer school, doesn't matter. They will be credit deficient, so they have two options: continuation school, or drop out, or go to adult school later.
I see.
So this continuation school is like a, what's it called, a safety net,
Gotcha.
a dream catcher for these kids. And Malik was one of these boys that were coming to my school, and he changed me. you know. And the whole thing about Alberto is, don't judge the book by its cover. That's what happened with me. I read his files, and I was ready. And when he came in, the guy has the most incredible smile you've ever seen in a kid. Bright eyes, you know, man. And I remember him coming in with his dad, and we sat down, and I said, the meeting was going on, introductions have already been made, and I said,
you read his file and braced up, ready for.
Oh, dude, it was like a jiu-jitsu match, man. It's like I was gonna be fighting somebody, right? And I stopped the meeting, and I said, okay, I need to stop the meeting for a second. I said, Dad, I want to apologize to you, and I want to apologize to Malik. I had a perception of you before you came in to speak with me, and I was completely wrong. You look like such a great kid, you know, and I was wrong. And then now let's continue the meeting. So this kid, we built a relationship from the beginning. If you have no relationship with your students, they're not learning. Why are they going to learn from you if you don't have a relationship with them, right? If you don't believe in them, if you don't connect with them in some way. So long story short, Malik comes to our school. He's a rapper, and he wrote a rap for me. And we started traveling to different schools, and him giving this rap on grades, how important it is to get good grades, and his story within the rap. And oh my gosh, man, it makes me cry when I think about him. He's amazing. You know, he's such a good guy.
Yeah, he went. Is it the City Hall?
Yeah, we went to
which city?
Burbank City.
Burbank City Hall.
And he rapped in front of all these
city council, the mayor.
And they were like, "What? That's coming from
stay in school." He's like, "Stay in school."
Yeah, get them grades up.
Get those grades up. Yeah.
And so.
Well, man, that's I tell people that story, and I'm not fully like that, but just how you're a big player and make a big difference in a lot of kids' lives. I was there at Jordan Middle School, the
blue blockers.
Yeah, the blue blockers, right? Walking around campus, but you really care. You really walk around the campus and you really care, and it's just good for me to see that. It makes me more connected to you. It makes me really believe in you. And just to see it, that's just an example, right?
Yeah.
I saw him I just ran into him at In-N-Out, years ago, and I was like, "Hey, I know you, you're Malik," and he's like, "Oh, how do you?" And I told him, like, I know Leonidas Tarca, and he got emotional, man. He got emotional,
Yeah, we're connected, man. we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And he just had a baby, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, amazing.
But we will always be connected because he was a turning point in my career. And sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to man up. Sometimes you win, but you learn, right, from your wins, or from your losses, right? And that was one of them.
So you started. Where'd you start teaching? You started as a teacher before you went into administration.
Yeah. So I was a teacher at San Fernando Middle School, which is one block from what we will talk about at the end. I started there at 23 years old. 23, man. And I was there for 7 years, and I learned a tremendous amount about kids, about education, something that you don't learn from school or from books. It's like really sitting into a classroom. And this goes out to all the teachers, how amazing and appreciated you are by administration, by other teachers, by parents and students. They do a job that's invaluable, right? And I was there for 7 years, and then I went to Granada Hills for 1 year, and then Mr. Bennett, who's one of my mentors, gave me an opportunity to leave the classroom and look at, instead of a micro sense, look at the macro, because he saw what I was doing in the class, and he said, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I just had received my master's degree, or completed my master's degree in administration, and so he opened the door, and from there it's been 14 years in administration already. And so yes, I've been around a lot, and I was looking at where would I make the biggest impact. People will look at me and like, for example, our journey, right? So I met you as a blue belt, and then we took a hiatus, and then I came back to you as a brown belt, and now my second stripe is a black belt, right? So that move builds you, and going to different settings have built my career as well, and has given me some experience that that's invaluable, right? And the whole mindset and goal set is, how do we help close the achievement gap in an organization, in an industry that is extremely growing. It's expanding, not just for minority brown and black boys and girls, but also even Caucasian girls. It's just expanding, and this pandemic caused some of that stuff.
So leading into that, like the state of education, we touched upon it, like when we were talking privately before. What's your opinion on the state of education?
That's a big question.
Loaded question.
It's a loaded question. Well, this, that there's in different districts and different areas, there's different opportunities, right? But the big word now is equity. How do we ensure that there's equity amongst all learners, right? So that's the biggest piece, because there's a major gap in education, right? And I feel that personally that what we'll talk about is the educational system is going kind of like how I'm making a pivot. I think the educational system will have to make a pivot to really help out in the bringing all students to some kind of level that's giving them more opportunities. That's my perception, my opinion. There has to be a restructuring of the educational system. I believe in like a hybrid model. Monterey has a hybrid model, and I saw some kids really, really grow and blossom in this type of model. So I'd love to talk to you about a little bit about it, about my ideas and what I see from my experience and from my own boys. I have two beautiful boys, them, right? Mateo and Luca. And Luca's like a giant already. Mateo's like huge. It's incredible. But Luca, we'll talk about him. So they're different in their learning skills, right? They're both extremely smart, but Mateo is more like academically, he's an A 4.0 student. Luca's extremely smart, but he likes business. During the pandemic, when we went from full day on-site learning, Luca was kind of like a C plus B student. He went into online and all A's. I don't know what happened, right? So I think that the combination of hybrid learning and also, bringing back the arts, bringing back the trades, bringing back the health and wellness of all different types of sports in an educational setting, and shortening the day to give more opportunities for kids to become kids and learn about financial literacy, learn about technology in 21st century, which they are, but give more opportunities for that. Learn about mechanics, learn about, horticulture, learn about living and life skills. My opinion, you will get a bigger bang for your buck from a majority of students that are now feeling the education gap, because they know, the kids know.
Yeah, right. We talked about Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad. His dad was his real dad was the superintendent of Hawaii.
Yeah,
and then his rich dad was his dad's, his best friend's dad, right? Or his school buddy, his dad who ended up mentoring him, right? And his real dad, he asked the teacher one day, like, hey, when are we going to learn about, financial, just learn about money,
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to answer him. And the dad laughed at him when he asked the dad, hey, when are they going to teach us about money? And his dad laughed at him. And he's like, the teachers, they teach whatever the government tells them to teach. And so that's not in the curriculum, right?
Yeah.
But it's important. You want to give the students, you want to give them
an opportunity, right?
An opportunity to better themselves if they want to, right?
Absolutely. I love that book. And I gave a junior copy to my sons, because they need to educate themselves, right? I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm just like an average at everything, pretty much. And if it wasn't for sports, you and I would not be having this conversation right now. I was a struggler, man. I think that's why I connect so well with my students. Sometimes you have to fail to be able to teach them. If you're always succeeding, you can be an amazing, teacher, mentor. But if you've never failed at something, like class, like math, like English, how do you understand some of those students, right? Again, my perception.
Talk to me about some of your struggles as being an educator and an amazing teacher. That from my experience, what I've seen, and everything that you do. So, what were your struggles
as a teacher, as an educator,
as a student learning?
Yeah. So we immigrated from Argentina. My dad is a professional race car driver. How awesome is that, right? That. Yeah.
I remember that.
He's also, I learned this as an older, he is an activist, you know, and kind of hearing him tell me things, subliminal messages in my brain. Kind of, I understand like the whole plight of the poor, you know, of the average person. There is a plight. Right, we want to get better. We come to America to get better. A lot of these people do, right?
Land
a lot
of
us.
opportunity.
Land of opportunity. So my struggle was first it was language, and I'll tell you, just you know, now that I'm part of the ELD program at our school, I'm actually the coordinator as well, and there's two levels of language learners, right? There's the BICS. And then there's the CALPS. And you're like...
The BICS?
BICS and CALPS, right? So basic interpersonal communication, right? That they can speak really well. Like I'm very articulate, right? We can be the kids you don't even know. But then the cognitive piece, the comprehension piece, the understanding the text and being able to relay information and answer questions about it is not there yet. So you have people that speak and articulate very well, but they struggle with the understanding of what they're reading and what they're learning, right? And so these kids go into these ELD programs, and our goal for our teachers is to really give them the basics and the foundations and help them excel in the English language, right? But some kids don't, and they struggle. And so they become LTELs. Like I'm giving you all these terms.
What was that?
Long-term English learners, right? So they'll be ELD students.
They stay in that lane, yeah.
Yeah, they stayed exactly. And so it's very difficult, right? And so I did a presentation today. I walked into one of our ELD classes for 8th grade, and I said, look, man, if you guys don't take this seriously and don't try your best to understand what is being taught to you, you will suffer later because it already knocks you off the A through G track. I went to community college. I went to go play soccer at Glendale, but that was my choice, right? I was given a scholarship to play soccer, and because of my skill set, because of my grades, they didn't give it. I couldn't get it, so they sent me to junior college first. I played 2 years, and then after 2 years, I decided, you know what, it's time for me to put my brain, and I want to be an A student like my friends and whatnot. And so, soccer just went out the window. It's a hobby now. But you have these kids that are going to struggle if they don't understand that piece.
My mom was an ESL teacher. My grandmother too, her mom. And, she invested a lot in these kids. And you're talking about staying in that lane, and a lot of immigrant kids, right, they come here and they're already at risk of dropping out. And she went the extra mile. And so it's like, it's so important to integrate them, right? And not have them stay in that. In that lane, and give them opportunities, right? Which again, talking about equity, right? Right. But there's a massive struggle. Our teachers struggle. They're working extremely hard and putting in a lot of hours, and then so we need to meet our kids somewhere, and our kids need to meet our adults somewhere. So it's got to be a middle ground, and that leads into why I feel so strongly about a hybrid learning model mixed in with Jiu-Jitsu as a physical education sport, because it brings so many things, and you talk about like TAC-FIT and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Let's get into. I want to go back just for 1 minute, and I want to hear your struggles as a student. I want to hear some vulnerability. Okay. From Mr. Blue Blocker. Blue Blocker is boss. Well, I'm sure that you've heard this before, but I didn't believe in myself. That lack of confidence, man. I was looking like, dude, I don't understand this. Luca tells me this, and this will relay back to what I'm going to talk about. But he says, I really need to be successful in English. I really need to learn how to write. Absolutely, because you can move mountains with words, articulation, and the pen.
not with your muscles. It's with how you write and how you speak. And so I'm like, this kid got it. He goes, that's pretty much, he goes, I was going to say Mr. Tarca. He goes, Papa, that's pretty much the most important subject. It's English. I understand math is important because I'm a business guy. He has his own business, right? And then he goes, in social studies, history will tell you about the past. And maybe you don't make the same mistake. So he got something, right? And then he goes, but what else? Everything else? For what, dude? It's writing and being able to speak, he tells me. So, dude, he got it, right? And that was my weakest subject. So I was embarrassed. I'd be like the one that wanted to read, but I had like butterflies in my stomach. And I'm like, what if somebody makes fun of me? And so if you don't have practice, it's like jiu-jitsu. If you don't get on the mat, you don't get better. You got to get your ass whooped sometimes, right? I mean, you beat me down forever, dude. I can't even move anymore, right? But if you don't do that, how are you going to be able to move forward? So that was the biggest struggle for me, is the confidence in myself and being able to succeed. Then comes sports.
How did you overcome that?
Sports.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Cortez.
So there you go. Here we are, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else.
So talk to me more about the sports and how that helped you build your confidence.
Mr. Cortez, history teacher. I become a history teacher, by the way.
You became a history teacher?
Yeah. I was a history teacher. Not because of him, but he told me. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He told me, he said, hey, dude, he goes, they called me Leon. Dude, you even cut my name, man. Nobody want to say Leonidas or Leonidas. It's Leon. It's like, what? Later I got older, I understand that. Like, why are you doing that to me? But he goes, hey, Leon, you need to quit, the soccer team. And I said, why? He goes, because you're barely pushing a C in my class. You're going to fail and you're not going to graduate. So you need to quit. And I went home and I was extremely sad and depressed because I said, I wanted to tell him, do you understand that it's because of sports that I'm even coming every day? I hate this, man. It's because of sports. And so I went home and I realized, wait a second. Okay, I have a plan. The next day, so I started studying more. That's how important it was for me. I started to push myself. And then he does a data chat with me. He talks to me about like the next quarter. He goes, see, I told you. I'm so glad you quit because you're pushing a B+. And I said, yeah, thank you. No, he motivated me because I wanted the sports, because it calmed me down, because it allowed me to do different things. I just pushed it more. So imagine.
You threatened, you basically taking away soccer and sports.
Yeah.
And so you're like, no, I can't have that.
So I turned it around. He didn't know that's how disconnected he was. He didn't even know that I didn't quit. I kept on playing. I just studied more. So that you can't take away the thing that makes people tick. So some kids are artists and yet we're pulling art. Some kids are musicians and we don't have funds for musicians. Right. So why come to school if those are the things they come, Or some kids want to learn mechanics, or some kids want to learn to build, or scientific, robotic, things like that. If you take those things away because there's no funds, then why are kids coming to school then if they can't connect with anything else, right? So my struggles were that. It wasn't for sports. I felt like, why am I here? I'm not connecting with anybody. Yeah, there's girls, right? But I'm not connecting with anybody. The only one that I connected with that year was my coach. We would train 7 days a week. He would take Saturday and Sunday to train with me. And he felt that I had something, right? And so I'm being successful as an athlete. Now I need to transfer that as a student.
But it gave you the confidence because of the sports and the athletics to be able to, like, I can put my mind to this and get good at it, and I can do the same thing with schoolwork if I need to.
Yeah, you call it something, Alberto. I know that you took a leadership course, right?
The emotional intelligence course, yeah.
So I learned EQ, emotional intelligence that day. I play you. I'll win. I'll give you what you need. I'll win. So I told Mr. Cortez I quit the team, but I didn't. And it changed his mindset. See, I knew I made an impact on you, Leon. No, I learned emotional intelligence. I understand now walking in and reading a room, who I need to navigate to, who needs me the most, what's the A, what's the B, and what's the C. Right? So I learned that as a young age. We just didn't call it emotional intelligence. We just call it street smarts, right? Streetwise, right? So yeah, so sports was the big thing for me. And then I went to college and I met the right people. Luca and Mateo's mom was a huge influence. She's super, athlete and an intelligent person, and changed my friend for a long time.
Teacher, psychologist, right?
Yeah, and changed my mindset. Stayed away from people that weren't taking me anywhere. And that was important as well. So associated myself with people that were like me, or the people that I strived to be, that I wanted to be, and that kind of pushed me as well. But again, it goes back to sports. Everything was sports. And then it transferred over to education. And so now I want to give that back to the kids, right?
And now jiu-jitsu, right? Mixing it with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So let's get into the hybrid model,
Okay.
and let's talk about your ideas and what you would like to see.
Yeah. My vision, if I had magic wand and said, Leonidas, you are the CEO of Legacy Learning Academy, right? I would like to see 8 to 12 core subjects, teaching the core subjects, 8 to 12, and then
Like money's not an option, right?
no,
Yeah, with the magic wand.
yeah, 8 to 12 core subjects, small classes, small learning classes, right? Hybrid model. So you'd have kids that come in A, kids that come in B, kind of separated. They don't need to all be together. That we're doing more. I would like more individualized learning, and then of course adding not just live, but adding the teacher on the screen as well. So not just giving programs, having a teacher guide the kids online and teaching them the skills.
Like a Zoom or videos, LMS learning modules.
Yes, like learning modules, right? So that would be part of the learning as well, but 8 to 12, so shortened day. I think that by the time that the kids hit like right after lunchtime, not all kids, some kids can go till 5, right? But I think the kids that are struggling, you have to go on baby steps. You have to let them love education. You have to let them grow in education, right? So I think small steps to increase, right? But I would like to see 8 through 12 core subjects being taught, and then bringing in the arts. And when I say about arts, is jiu-jitsu would be the main focus on physical education, health and wellness, right? So I mean, I would love to see like a culinary class, because I believe in independence. I believe in kids learning to cook and be sustainable themselves, right? Jiu-jitsu is the lifestyle, right? The whole body.
Healthy, yeah.
The whole body. The whole body, the mind, the respect factor, the understanding of, the etiquette of being on the mat is also the same as the etiquette of being in the classroom, right? The kids that I think are the most successful with like citizenship and like respect towards adults are wrestlers. They walk around differently, but you know what? They also are not nervous about what other people say because they know their skill set. So that mentality will go from jiu-jitsu mat into the classroom and the subjects and really tackling that. And then giving kids an opportunity to look at what trades they want to do. So I look at the trades as this model as well, right? So you have financial literacy, because you could set kids up early. You could set them up early so they don't have to. They could find their passion right in life, because you only live once. Hopefully that it's good enough the first time, right? So financial literacy. Technology and coding, I think that's very important, because we're in the we're going into the 22nd century.
We're going into the singularity. We merge with technology.
Well, I mean,
I know.
We're gonna go into a century where technology is gonna be everything, if it's not already, right? Yeah. So that piece, and then I also like art as a foundation, like music, art, just the enrichment of the arts are very important for me. And then I do believe in like mechanics, and I like horticulture. I like bringing back to the planet instead of taking from the planet, right?
Have a lot of courses been taken out from schools? I know that a little bit. I'm trying to think of my kids. They have some. My kids' school, elementary and middle school had some, but I think little by little they've been taken out, right?
Yeah, funding has changed a lot of things. Now that we have a funding called ESSER funds, and that's from the state due to the COVID, to close that gap a little bit. So they're giving us a little bit more funding, so more people for intervention, more people for support. But what if we created a school that had this motto? Prevention before intervention eliminates reaction, right? So right now we're reacting to what's happening, right? The gap is widening, right? And so with that reaction, we put a lot of intervention to hopefully bring kids in a very short amount of time, bring them to a certain level, right? We already know what happened. We know what's happening. We know what's successful, what's not successful. Why not be preventative? And work on these type of models that a lot of states are doing. This is not something that I just invented. This is something that I've lived through Monterey, and I've seen some massive success with kids that were, you said, at risk, right? And then we converted it into what Dr. Rios calls at promise, because you believe in them.
Right, the TED Talk you sent me.
Right, you believe
instead
in them.
Instead of kids being at risk, they're at, instead of changing it to I promise.
Yeah, if you tell a kid he's gonna fail, he's gonna fail. If you tell the kid you can do this and giving them a support plan, they're more likely to do better, right? So, again, you're at risk. You're gonna at risk to fail. You're gonna be that 50% that doesn't graduate from high school on time. You're gonna be suspended. Whatever the issue may be, the kids kind of act like that when they're young. They kind of they revert to what you say they are, the label that you give them, right?
All of us do, right?
Yeah, we all do, right? So that's what I see. I see a shortened day, hitting the academics really hard, but at a really sustainable pace, and then bringing back like the beauty of the arts, health and wellness, the mind, right? Having a really growth mindset where kids love to come to school every day, and there are kids that love school. But we can make it even better.
Yeah, awesome. Man, what got you into education? What was that?
Now, that's a great question. Well, my mom's a teacher, but
it's not just like a job, like you're passionate, you're coming alive right now.
Yeah. So
when you were younger, what was like, I want to do this. I want to go down this road.
Mr. Cortez, he did. He didn't know me. He didn't know anything about me. We weren't connected. So much that I could lie to him by telling him that I quit the team, but really I just worked a little harder. Going through high school and just, remembering his name and one English teacher. She was a Greek teacher, Miss Ontiveros, man. I love that lady. She made me feel like I can do anything. So not being connected in school, I said, you know what? When I become a teacher, man, I'm going to connect. Because that was my biggest thing, was being able to talk to anybody, being able to speak in front of people, being able to make people, I'd walk around and you have the kids that would make fun of other kids and just say, hey, dude, come over here, forget that guy, come and talk to me. You need, or having people sit in a table by themselves. And even at high school, I would just go sit in the table with them. I didn't care. I didn't care what anybody said about me. I wanted to make people happy. That's why. Imagine when you look at a kid's face and they know that you care, then it's more than respect. I remember when I became an administrator and I remember this also another pivot, but I came in really tough. Like, the teacher's like, you got to put this kid down because he didn't follow my directions. And so I came in like and after I did that, I said, that's not who I am, though. And I told the kid, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. You just got to follow directions. But I said, so I had to figure it out. I had to figure, it wasn't me. I'm not the ogre. I want to be and I'm not the counselor either. I'm the mentor. I'm the guide. I'm the one that talks to the kid in the ear and says, man, this is why you have to make better choices.
The sage, right? You don't need to, you're the sage, not the enforcer.
Yeah. So people now, after 14 years in administration, I think they're starting to see.
We've talked about this in the past, but being a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has got to help you. Your just the confidence, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk around campus. I mean, when I've been in the schools with you, I kind of felt that, with the kids. Like they respected you, and
Julius Caesar. I taught history, right? And they asked him one day. I know Julius, right? But they asked him. They said, "Would you rather be feared or loved?" And he said, respected. And the only way that you're going to get respect is by showing them that you care and giving respect back. And he killed a lot of people. So that was history. But I'm not killing anybody. I'm helping people, right?
And he got taken out himself, right?
His best friend stabbed him, Brutus. That's because he was jealous, man. He had blue blockers. But that when we walk around and the kids know that you really care, and they're not even your kids, man. They're not your kids, but I remember telling the kids all the time, and this was the best, Alberto. There's an ed code where administrators are the parents of the kids at school. Our job is to keep the kids safe. If they're safe, they're learning. If they're learning, they're getting hopes. If they have hopes, they have dreams, and then they become people in society that are successful who help others, right? And so, I told the kids, I said, hey, just to let you know, I'm your dad. And I had a kid in the back, Papa. I said, no, dude, no. I'm not really your dad, but I'm your dad.
You tell me that when you're at Jordan Middle School.
I love that one because, you have, and I said, I'm your dad because I'm here to take care of you. Again, if the kids feel safe, they learn. If they learn, they have hope. If they hope, they have dreams. And that's how you make kids kind of grow, right?
And man, telling my grandmother, right? My dad, he was a promised kid, he was adopted and a lot of issues. And my grandmother, my mom's mother, was his teacher. She wasn't actually even his teacher. She was in the school. Yeah. And she knew, it was a small town. So she was in his business always like, what's going on? How you doing? Like took the extra time to care, right?
Yeah.
And then because she was connected with him, he's like, man, I wouldn't have made it if it weren't. They calls them like the certain people like his angels, and my grandmother being one of them.
That's it, man. Everybody needs a champion, dude, or an angel, right? Somebody
to believe in them, to support them.
Even the kids that struggle, Alberto. Even the kids that really, really struggle, they need somebody. And sometimes they don't have anybody at home, right? You come on the mat, man. There's one kid, I'm not going to say his name, right? But that guy, man, right? I remember him from middle school to high school. And I saw what he wrote on your page, right? He says, I feel blessed to be teaching.
Give him a shout out. Come on, he's not gonna. That's how I talk about him.
Hey, we should throw the picture
Josiah,
on.
Josiah was one of your students at Monterey.
Dude, I love that kid.
You were his principal, assistant principal.
What's funny is that I remember Josiah was like this. He's like those quiet ones are the ones that are the toughest, man, right? And I would be like, see that kid over there, dude? Don't mess with me, bro. Josiah is a white belt, but he'll take you out. No, I didn't say that. But yeah, he's one. Do you see the things, the appreciation that he has? I mean, he loves what he's doing. And you gave him that opportunity, right? So
I like to consider teamwork makes the dream work, I remember us being like talking and trying to make it work. And it was kind of while he was in Monterey that I kind of took him in, and I asked my wife if I could have him stay in the guest house and just make sure he does everything that he's supposed to be doing.
So he's a product, right? And he gives back. He gives back through various ways, but he believes in the kids, right? And so he's going to be one of those humans, and so you have to give those opportunities to kids. Now, again, transform it where kids want these opportunities and take these opportunities, right? Because you could give a lot of opportunities, but not everyone takes it. So you gotta be diverse, and you gotta adapt, and you gotta be calm, and you have to be collected. And
maybe you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? But maybe he doesn't drink at that time, but maybe
he may come back
a year, 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, but he's there, but he'll come back, right? And so I remember saying this is like, what is alpha? They talk. And so I ask kids, what is alpha? And everybody goes, well, it's the cool guy. No, or it's the guy that's the outgoing guy or girl. Or it's the kid that's very popular and just is it's cool, right? Nah. The alpha is the calm, collected, controlled, and confident guy that doesn't say anything. It just listens.
Doesn't need to, right?
No, it doesn't need to, man. So that's how I look at alpha, right? So we got to make a bunch of alphas. Men and women, girls and boys, and so for me,
real confidence.
Yeah, right. And again, it goes back to being successful. It goes back to baby steps. It goes back to one class at a time.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu, right? When we talk about jiu-jitsu, like jiu-jitsu and martial arts, it gives you that confidence where you're not looking out for fights. It gives you the confidence, it's not worth it. It gives you the confidence to be calm under a situation, to make the right decisions, because you can handle yourself, right? So that's it, right? You're creating alphas with the skill sets, and with jiu-jitsu being one of them.
Yeah. Imagine instead of all these knuckleheads, we had all alphas. The world would be different, man. Right? All calm, controlled, collected, confident people, men and women. But, you know, so I'd like to start something like that. I'd like to take the legacy name and add something extra to it. What, again, jiu-jitsu is my passion, but my profession is education.
Combine them, right?
Right, put them together, right? And bring the right people to do it, right? And I think we can make a gigantic impact in society, you know?
Well, I'm excited, man. Thank you for, your leadership and your inspiration. The years I've been watching you, and I've had some experiences, you know, in your professional life, you know, of course, and then jiu-jitsu over the years, experiences, you know. I'm excited to see the legacy, Silmar or San Fernando, whichever you decide.
Yeah.
And plus, right? Plus the academy and then the education part as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You've been doing big work for years, really making a difference in your communities everywhere you go. So I'm a believer, you know, and I'm really excited to see it happen after all these years. We've been talking about this for a lot of years now.
Yeah, there's only one way, and it's up, man. And so I appreciate your time with you, Alberto, and learning from you and watching you and getting mentorship and continuing the mentorship piece, so we could expand the legacy, right? Another thing, you know, it's funny that you say legacy, because they said, what do you want to, you know, after your career, what is it you want? Legacy. That the things that you created continue. That people start giving back when you're gone. And we tell the kids, we want you to be leaders when nobody's watching, right? Leave a legacy. So this is another chapter in my life. I'm really excited. I'm stoked to be, you know, part of this and have this opportunity right now. And I know that it's going to be successful. And so let's do it.
Yeah, making a difference.
Yep.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.